Well, tell me, everybody, who has their popcorn ready? Because this week at the Trump hush money trial, we had Stormy Daniels, the porn star, on the stand. And next week, we have Michael Cohen, Trump's former attorney, going to be on the stand for the prosecution. So let's talk about it right here on Live Now from Fox and bring in a friend here of the program, criminal defense attorney Dwane Cates, joining us here with the latest. And Dwane, if this past week was any indication of what is to come, hold on, buckle up, everybody, because we got Michael Cohen coming up next.
Yeah, it's, this is a legally horrific trial, but boy, is it entertaining. It's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Tell me this. Okay, so since you are going to have his former attorney there on the stand, how does this all work with client-attorney privilege?
Well, I'm sure Trump's already tried to assert attorney-client privilege, and there are ways around it. You can defeat that, and if you through your attorney commit a crime, you kind of waive your attorney-client privilege. So he'll get to testify, but again, I really wish they'd make him wear his prison jumpsuit on the stand, but I don't know if they'll do that.
And we're talking about Michael Cohen here, who has a felony and was disbarred. And when the defense does the cross-examination, I think that is when a lot of people are going to be going and trying to get the updates as they're coming in. Because for a defense, when you have Michael Cohen, there was all those reports that after Trump became president, he became very, very salty that he did not get a high-profile White House job.
That's it. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, he was scorned and he was angry, and he's doing everything he can to possibly harm Donald Trump, and that's going to show. They're going to bring that out on the stand. Not only is he a disbarred lawyer, he was disbarred and convicted of lying to a court. So, he's a convicted perjurer.
And how many times do you think the defense is going to bring up that fact and continue to ask him those statements?
Well, I mean, they're going to go through it. They're going to say, well, you lied about this, didn't you? You lied about that, didn't you? And, in their closing argument of this thing, I bet the word lied comes out of the attorney's mouth 100 times.
Yeah, so true, and we can't wait to get these updates as they will be coming in. And for the prosecution, I mean, this is one of their second, really, a star witness. And what do they think that they will gain from having Michael Cohen on the stand?
So far, they've put on no evidence that the entries were false. Okay, I mean, he labeled legal expenses as legal expenses, and they have to prove that there was a false statement made or a false business record created. Then they have to prove that Donald Trump created that business record, and then they have to prove that Donald Trump created that business record for an illegal purpose, which was to hide to prevent campaign finance laws, and they just can't do that.
And I got to ask you this, too, because we are getting to the part here really in the trial when the jury continues to listen to these different people on the stand. Now, they're not supposed to, but do you think at this point some have already made up their mind on this case?
They may have. I mean, I'm more worried about that some of them are watching the news coverage. But even then, even left-leaning news organizations are blasting this trial. So I don't know that helps the government, but there probably are some that will convict Donald Trump no matter what the evidence is. But you got to believe there's at least one or two that the worst case scenario that this is going to be a hung jury.
And what do you think now when we have Michael Cohen going on? Will they even also talk about, we see him making these appearances on TikTok, and he's really outspoken so many times. Do you think they will be using that against him as well?
Every prior inconsistent statement he made. So if he says something on the stand and he said something inconsistent with that prior on TikTok or whatever, there's going to be an army of investigators pulling those clips up and confronting him with those, because any inconsistent statement that he makes about something is fair game for the defense to go after.
And I'm sure that there will be emails and text messages being shown for the evidence as well. And when Donald Trump gets to look at Michael Cohen there on the stand, we talked about this in the past when Stormy Daniels was on there. Do you think he'll be looking at him? Do you think he'll be looking at the jury? What do you think Donald Trump is instructed more to do when Michael Cohen is on the stand?
I'm sure that he's going to look at him. Number one, I don't think it really matters what Donald Trump is instructed to do, because I think Donald Trump's going to do whatever Donald Trump wants to do. Okay. But he should refrain from glaring and making faces and making comments under his breath. Jurors don't like that. Judges don't like that. And that he's got to stop. He's got to try to not do that.
And that might be the hardest part, right? You can tell him to do one thing, but of course, he is his own PR person, his own top one to put out the statements. Just look at Truth Social, and you can see all sorts of different statements there. But last question here, because I want to lead this into, we saw Donald Trump, of course, when he goes into court, leaves court, he does make statements to the cameras. And I want to talk a little bit about, he always has been coming out the last couple of days, and as soon as he gets to the cameras, he's talking about how this judge is corrupt and this whole system is corrupt against him. And tell me, how is he able to just go out there and really, just moments after leaving the court, just slam the judge there?
He does it very intelligently. And when he's on his way into court, he uses statements made by other commentators the day before, so it's not his words, so he can't get fined for it. And when he comes out, he's speaking he gets to speak his piece. It's funny that Stormy Daniels, as soon as she left the stand, put out a tweet that was, blasting Donald Trump, and Donald Trump can't respond. That's not fair. And he's gonna walk as close to the line as he possibly can. And if he gets fined a few $1,000s here and there, I don't think he really cares.
Yeah, that is so true, and we've seen it definitely in the past. Dwane Cates, thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We are telling everybody, giving a little preview of what to expect next week. Buckle up, everybody.
Thanks, Mike.
No problem.